Alright boys, what's happening? We are back on F1 2020 for the start of a new series. We are going to go back into the My Team career mode, start from scratch, start fresh. Now the reason we are doing that, obviously if you're a long time viewer on the channel, you'd know that we did have a career mode going. You know, we did give it up quite early on because I thought it was taking too long to record. But hopefully this time around, we're going to stick to it. Now, my last career mode save was bugged a bit. I think it was a bit glitched. The file got a bit corrupt. You know, every single race, there would never be a red flag. There would never be a safety car. Even though I had flags and safety cars turned on in the settings, we'd never get that in a race. And, you know, obviously it makes it more entertaining when that stuff happens. The most we'd ever get was double yellow flags. Yeah, so we're going to make a new career mode, and hopefully this one is a bit more, like, entertaining and works. You know what I mean? So we are going to jump straight into it with a new setup. Obviously we've got to remake our team and character. We're going to use the same character from the last career mode. Obviously we're not going to recreate that, or the car livery and car design. We're still going to keep with the red and black theme. The only thing we are going to change is start a new start from scratch. You know what I mean? Start from scratch on the research and development tree. Because I did actually continue that series off camera. We got to about season 3 or 4. And, you know, it was starting to get good. And I was like, you know what, I actually want to go back. I wish I would have carried this on. So let's take a look at the sponsor select. Obviously, we've got to pick our starting sponsor, which gives us our starting bonus. Last time we did go with Shark. I think Shark is going to be the one that we go for again right here. You know, 5 Constructor Championship points in a season. That doesn't seem too difficult. You know, if we get a lucky safety car or anything like that, if safety cars actually work, you know, we might end up in the points and then obviously complete this challenge right here, which will give us an extra 3.56 mil, which is a lot of money. We obviously get that 4.9 as the signing bonus. We're going to go with Shark again. Now, as for the engine, obviously last time we did pick Honda, but this time around, boys, we are going to go with the Mercedes engine. It just increases that durability. And one thing I did find at the start of the last My Team save was the durability of the engine. You know, the engine worn so fast, and it just wasn't good. You know, we are going to go with the Mercedes engine. You might think it's cheating, but the way My Team works, we're still going to have a stinky car that's going to be low table to mid table, so we're not going to be, you know, killing it just yet. And we will change our engine probably every season, because in my other My Team save, Renault ended up being the best engine. These stats here, as you can see, they change every season with the engine. So we're going to go with Mercedes for this save. You know, just switch it up a bit so we're not doing the same thing, you know, with same sponsor and same, what's it called? And same engine. And for the driver, you know, we have 1.5 mil. We don't need to go with anyone crazy. We're going to take Mick Schumacher. It's looking like Mick Schumacher is going to be driving for Haas next year, with obviously Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean leaving. And speaking of Romain Grosjean, as you know, if you're a fan of the F1 series on this channel, Grosjean is sort of like a cult enemy, but Grosjean had a massive crash in the Bahrain Grand Prix. If you did not see that, it's, you know, it was a horrible image, especially to watch live, and we are just so grateful that Grosjean is still alive and in good health. You know, he's got a few burns on his hands and his ankles, but other than that, he seems to be in good shape, and he's just so lucky to get out of it alive. I actually can't believe he got out of that crash alive. It's crazy. It's just a testament to the FIA and the safety regulations in Formula 1, how much they've changed over the years. Because a few years back, you know, he would have died from that crash. Without the halo, he would have died from that crash. It's crazy. So, you know, I hope Grosjean is back for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix to obviously finish off the season. We're getting towards the end of the season now. I hope he's back for that. Behind the wheel one last time in Formula 1. I'm going to vote him as driver of the day, of course, because, you know, it's Grosjean. This is his last race. We've got to. He's obviously going to miss the Sakhir Grand Prix this weekend, but hopefully he will be back for Abu Dhabi. And again, boys, like I said, we are going to stick with the same livery. I do just like this car design that we did create last year, or last save, sorry. And we're going to keep the same badge. I'm a big fan of the badge as well. So pretty much everything visually is going to be the same. But, you know, we've just got a different engine, different teammate. I don't know how to advance here. Can I just accept that? Yeah, there we go. So we have created again. Did I call it Sasuke Gaming? I want to call it Sasuke Racing. Let me just go back to the team details. We are, of course, going to stick with the 22 race season. We're going to have every single race in the calendar year. So as for qualifying, we are going to have the full qualifying, you know, the 18, 15, 12. At the start of the career mode, I don't expect us to make it out to Q3 at all. You know, we'd be very, very lucky if we got out to Q3. Formation lap off. Race distance, we leave on 25. You know, 50% is just a bit too long. As for the driver level, I believe I was up on 90 on the last career mode. So we are going to stick it on 90 because, you know, if you remember the last time I did play this game, I was quite, like, shit. Let's be honest, I was shit. I didn't know the courses, I didn't know how to drive, but I know all the courses now and I know how to drive. So we're going to leave park firmly rules on, vehicle damage reduced, I just don't like damage. Safety car on, rules and flags on, race starts is assisted, tyre temperature, yeah, so of course, rules and flags and safety cars are on. Hopefully this should work now. As for our assist, this is what we use here. We have braking off, anti-lock brakes on, because I just hate locking up. You know, I'm not that talented as a driver yet. Same with traction control. I'm not that good yet to be able to drive without anti-lock brakes and, of course, traction control. If you ever tried on this game to do that and drive without those, you know, it's mad. It's mad. It's mad. So I don't know how people do that. But yeah, boys, that is it for the settings. And let's get into the career mode.
Whatever happens this season, you've already made the history books. Tell me, do you feel up to the mammoth task of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
Of course, boys, we've got this little introductory interview thing because we have just started the team. Let me see what this question is. Do I feel up to the task? It isn't just about me. We've got the team behind me. It's together unstoppable. I live for challenges like this. A lot of work, even more to come. Let's see, I'm going to go with that one. Just gas up the team, and you know, it's all about getting high morale and boosting the team. Everybody needs 2 drivers. We've seen what they can do on paper and it's a lot of potential. Skill set suits our team. Right fit for our team. And it was tough. No, let's not do that. We're going to go with this, hopefully boost up Schumacher's like morale. You know, the starting driver doesn't really make a difference. You know, you're going to get rid of them as soon as possible. Now, this question right here, boys, if you are starting a career mode, this sort of decides your research and development tree. You know, whatever team you pick here, you're going to be close to them. So I think in the first season, we picked Williams. So we started right down at the bottom of the pack. Obviously, above Williams, you have Alfa Romeo, so you're going to be a bit closer to them. And then AlphaTauri. Now, as for this, I am going to pick AlphaTauri because it's just going to give us a little boost on that research and development tree and push us towards mid-table a bit, trying to get rid of, like, obviously out the way of these 3 stinkers, which would take, like, a season or 2 to do. So we're going to try and get a head start by getting closer to AlphaTauri, and hopefully that will give us a boost to our car. And this question here, again, whatever you pick here, it does affect like that part of the research and development tree. So if you pick the top one, obviously traction, that's the aero team, the chassis team, and then the sim data looks good. I think that might be to do with durability, and as responsive as possible. In fact, I think this is between just chassis and aero in it. Do we want to go responsiveness going into corners or traction out of it? I'm going to go traction out of it. I like having a good aero department on this game. You know, I think that's what we're going to focus heavy on, as well as the engine, you know, engine and aero. Let's see, so we've got their weight. That's to do with the chassis, obviously weight distribution and weight reduction. Fresh pair of eyes, reducing drag. And the ERS system, I'm going to go with that because that will boost the engine. As you can see, the powertrain department, you know, it's always important to boost that powertrain department, like right at the start of the career mode. Let's see, that top one is obviously durability, streamlined car, incredibly light car, overtaking all about power. We're going to go power again. You know, we need that engine to be as powerful as possible. And with a Mercedes engine, we should be able to have, you know, a good unit in that car. Which departments are you most proud of? Again, we are going to go for the power unit department. Again, just full sending it into that engine, trying to get the best power unit as possible. So, boys, we do have 1,000 resource points to spend jumping into the R&D tree. It's looking very bare right now. We can get probably 2 upgrades, maybe. Let's see. Insufficient resource points. So we're going to get the fuel efficiency for 575. I think that's going to fuck us over there. We're going to have 400. Can we get anything for 400? It doesn't look like it. Both chassis upgrades are 5, and so is durability. So we get that 1 engine upgrade there, but that is all we need. And then we're going to get into advancing through the calendar, see the new car, and get into, of course, the first Grand Prix, which is the Australian Grand Prix. And we do actually have enough resource points now to get another upgrade. We're going to go for, you know, downforce. Let's see, we want drag reduction. We're going to go with that one right there. There we have our car, boys. Doesn't it look nice and sexy? Once we get our team acclaim level up and get some sponsors on that car, it's going to look even better. Right now, though, we are skint. I just went to upgrade some of the facilities, but we don't have any dough. We are skint. We're getting some money in there. And we have completed, of course, our first upgrade. Now, I am concerned about the length of this video, but you know, I hope you're going to like an extended video because we are going to do the Australian Grand Prix in this video. So, let's get right into it. You know, no messing about. I was going to save it for another video, but we're going to do it in this one. Because why not? Here we go, boys. We have Q1 qualifying for the 2020 Australian Grand Prix. Now, Australia is a very fun track to drive. You know, we've got a lot of high-speed corners on this course right here. So let's get right into the qualifying and see what time we can put on the board. I'm not too sure what times I got in the last career mode or anything like that to be able to compare the car. Obviously, we've got a new engine this time around compared to the Honda engine on the first career mode. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe I'll go back and compare those two right there. We're just loading in our car setup. If you want to see the car setups, I can go through them in other videos. But for now, we're just going straight out to track.
Engine fired, we're set.
One thing I will say I noticed straight away is the noise out of the car. It sounds a lot different to the Honda engine on the last career mode. I don't know if that is just like my ears because I haven't been on that other career mode for a while. But it definitely does sound different. And does it feel different? Let's find out. The car definitely feels different to the last career mode. You know, it feels very heavy and sluggish going around these corners. I'm having to enter the corners quite slow because I just don't have that downforce to be able to just fly around them at high speeds, you know what I mean? If I try and commit to like the racing lines I used to commit with the other car, that it's a lot more upgraded, you know, we will just go flying off the track. So we are having to take it quite slow. Lost a bit of time there. We're going to get it in about 2 or 3 laps probably. Obviously we'll switch our tyres at the end of this lap right now. But let's see what time we can put up. Again, going a bit too deep there. Can we stay on the track? We can. Yeah, a bit too deep at the corner there. It's a very hard car to handle when you first start. You know, we need to get some of those chassis upgrades for sure. And get that downforce upgraded in the aero department. Approaching the second to last corner now. Coming around. I don't feel like it was that bad of a lap. There was that one corner when I did shoot it a bit too deep. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. And we crossed the line. We're in P13 right now. Oh, that was a flying lap. I'm an absolute idiot. That wasn't even one of our laps. That was the flying lap. I probably should have conserved the tyres a bit more. I thought we did a flying lap. Like, that was our out lap, sorry. I thought we did a flying lap, but I guess not. So this now is the lap that we're going to set our time for in Q1. We're definitely going to have to change these tyres because I did just drive that out lap as if it was, you know, the actual lap, and we've run wide there as well. This lap seems to be a write-off, but we'll put a time in and fly into the garage anyway. Okay, boys, back in the garage. We're going to switch those tyres to the fresh set of softs for Q1. Obviously, we did that out lap as if it was a flying lap. I thought we were on a flying lap. But we weren't. We actually just drove out of the pit lane. So I did our out lap as if it was our actual qualifying lap. Messed the tyres up. So let's make sure when we go to the track now, we kick flying lap. I swear down flying lap used to be X when you get out of the out of the pit, but I guess not. It is A. So we're going to do a flying lap first. It looks like we might see some rain, so hopefully we can get this lap in before the rain does start to come. I think I've just seen a few drops just there. Yeah, it looks like the rain is coming, boys. I can see it on the camera now. Hopefully we can get this lap in before it gets worse. And obviously the track conditions become too wet and slippy for these soft tyres. It's looking like it's coming down heavy already. This isn't good. Can we get our lap in as quick as possible before it comes down major? Everyone's in the pits. It looks like everyone might be putting on intermediate tyres, which is not good for me, obviously, coming out on these softs. So yeah, let's just try and set this lap as quick as possible and see what everyone else comes out on. taking these corners quite nicely. Ran a bit wide there. That's just the lack of downforce. Again, like I keep mentioning, cutting the corners, you know, entering like these corners. Like, I'm entering these corners as if I've got an upgraded car. You know, I'm so used to it. It's like muscle memory because of how many seasons I did on that other career mode. And you just know where your braking zones and turning points are. But with this car, I'm going to have to relearn it as we go through Season 1 and obviously the future seasons of this career. Ran a bit wide there. That's going to cost us a few tenths of a second. Definitely messed up there in Sector 2. Bit late on the brakes there as we enter the last corner. Can we not run too wide? A nice take on that last corner as we cross the line. Let's see where that puts us. P20. So, yeah, let's go to the garage and see if everyone's coming back out on intermediates or what's going to happen there. Now, we have 5 minutes remaining, boys, in this session. It looks like everyone is just going to stay in the garage. Of course, coming out on intermediate tyres would just be a silly idea because you're just going to set a slower time anyway than the softs. So it looks like this is the standings and nobody is going to set another lap. So it looks like we're P20, you know, at least it's not P22. We've got Raikkonen and Nicholas Latifi, the stinker, into P21 and P22. So, you know, at least we weren't bottom. Do you know what I mean? It's not too bad. If we would have did that first lap, obviously better. Maybe we would have caught Giovinazzi, but he's a whole second nearly ahead of us. You know, obviously we did 2 laps. It looks like everybody else has only done 1. Our race engineers just said that. Wait there. Mick Schumacher is up in P12. Okay, Mick, 124. Jesus Christ. So Mick Schumacher's actually qualified for P2. That's incredible. That is incredible. Maybe I should have been able to set a time like that then. Obviously, we went out on our actual lap and it started to rain a bit. So maybe the rain did affect our time slightly. You know, not enough grip on the road. All of that stuff and the excuses we are going to make there. Maybe we should have been up in P12, you know, instead of down here with the stinkers. Obviously, we did say our car should have been close to AlphaTauri. We've got Pierre Gasly in P14. Charles Leclerc is down in P18. Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Of course, Ferrari have had a stinker this year in Formula 1. But Charles Leclerc is in P18 to start the race, boys. That is going to be how Charles Leclerc starts the race. And if you know about how the AI works on this, they find it very hard to get through traffic. So if we get off to a good start, maybe, just maybe, we might finish above Charles Leclerc in the actual race, but I highly doubt that with how advanced, of course, the Ferrari car is. You see Seb there, my man Seb, up in P10. You know, with how advanced that car is compared to ours, you know, it's very, very unlikely. Danny Kvyat up in P6. It looks like Kvyat's going to take a sabbatical year for F1 2021, which would be huge. That frees up a seat at AlphaTauri for Alex Albon to go back down to AlphaTauri and Checo Perez, my guy Checo, to come to Red Bull. You know, if you know me, I am a big fan of Red Bull racing. Christian Horner is my dad. Max Verstappen's probably my favourite driver on the grid. And then, obviously, I'm a massive, massive fan of Checo Perez. So, if Sergio Perez did get a Red Bull racing seat, that would be huge. There we have it, boys. End of Q1. Schumacher in P12. Go on, Mick. Yeah? Come on. 124. That's a mad time compared to us. Obviously, 2.2 seconds faster than us. That is a crazy difference. Maybe it was just the rain or I'm just shit. Let's advance and see how he does fare in Q2 and Q3 if he makes it. Alright, boys, we are going to get into the race now. I'm a bit concerned about the length of this video, so I probably will cut out a lot of the race. I've just realised 15 laps, that doesn't sound like a lot. On the other career mode, I actually do race on 50% races, so I probably will bump that up again. Now, a lot of the time, you're just going round and round, and there's no action. So, any laps that there's no action, I probably will just cut out. Unless you want to see the full laps, you know, and see how I drive every single lap. But that's up to you. Let me know in the comments what you want to see. I'm going to do a post-commentary over the race now, so I will catch us in that.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal. And it's make or break here at Albert Park, home of the Australian Grand Prix since 1996. And home to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. Can Mercedes start with victory in their bid to win a 7th consecutive Constructors' title? Could Ferrari or Red Bull establish an advantage early on? And with 22 cars on the grid, how quickly can the new team find their footing? Well, it's great to be back, Anthony Davidson. We've got a lot to talk about this year.
That's right, Crofty. It felt like a long winter, but it's good to finally be back. I have to think the usual suspects will battle it out at the front, but there are always going to be some teething problems early on in the season, so whoever can keep on top of their issues will have the advantage today.
As I mentioned earlier, we're up to 11 teams this season, with a new entry run by, well, of all things, an owner-driver. That's something we haven't seen in this sport since Hector Raback over 4 decades ago. So how are they looking so far?
It's hard to imagine how a small operation like that could survive in the ruthless world of Formula One, and yet here they are, first ever race looking surprisingly strong. But there are no points for qualifying. Let's see how they fare in the Grand Prix proper.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at...
Alright boys, let's take a look at how the grid lines up for the Australian Grand Prix. We have a Mercedes front row lockout there, Hamilton in P1 with Bottas just behind him, Max Verstappen and Alex Albon in the second row, so a Red Bull lockout there, Carlos Sainz in P5, a great place for Carlos Sainz. Seb Vettel is in P7, we have another lockout there with the Racing Points, Pierre Gasly and Danny Kvyat, followed by Grosjean and Magnussen, you know, the two AlphaTauris and the two Haas next to each other. Our boy Mick Schumacher in P16, so of course Mick Schumacher did make it through to Q2 in qualifying, but obviously he couldn't improve on that position and did finish last in Q2. But you know, what a showing from Mick, you know, first race of the season. That is a fantastic start place for him on the grid there. So jumping into the strategy for the race, I was going to bump down the fuel load a bit, but then I realised, you know, like obviously bump it down, get a bit less weight in the car, so we'd be a bit faster going around the track. But then I realised, you know, with this engine, the fuel efficiency isn't that good because we haven't upgraded the engine yet, so we're going to keep it on like pretty much the default fuel and not knock that down too much. Stick with the default strategy, a one stop, soft into mediums, and let's get into the race, boys, as we see the red lights count down. And it's lights out and away we go at the 2020 Australian Grand Prix. And we get off to a flying start, overtaking Giovinazzi and Charles Leclerc, heading into turn 1 alongside Mick Schumacher, our teammate, who sends it up the inside. And Mick Schumacher has gained about 4 places with that move there, overtaking Pierre Gasly. And I believe that might be Danny Kvyat that he overtook as well. But we run a bit wide there, get a bit of a collision with Giovinazzi. Kimi Raikkonen flies up the inside and gains about 5 places as well. I think we might have picked up a bit of damage there because Giovinazzi did clart us as if we weren't even there. You can see another collision with Giovinazzi flash up on the screen. Nearly a big collision with Kevin Magnussen there, but luckily we got out of that unscathed. But yeah, so Leclerc and Giovinazzi did overtake us going into turn 2, but we managed to get those positions back. I don't really know what happened there, but we are now flying in P18 after starting P20. You know, it's a good start. We run over that curb there, which is a terrible corner. I did that so many times in this race. You'll see going over that curb, and it cost me so much time. But a solid 2-place gain, you know, with obviously Mick Schumacher has flew up. I don't know where he is right now, but he started P16. You can see Ramon Grosjean is in P16, so I don't know where Mick Schumacher is, but he absolutely flew up, and so did Kimi Raikkonen. That full send by Kimi Raikkonen was absolutely crazy. Like, I just seen him in the mirror, and he just goes flying down the inside. Full sends it like a torpedo, like Danny Kvyat in China a few years back. We run wide into the gravel trap there, but we managed to recover. That would have been a disaster, you know, spinning out on lap 1. You know, that would not have been good at all. But right now, we are sitting comfortable in P18. You know, we're trying to close that gap to Kevin Magnussen in front of us. We're even on sub 1 second in the split time to Romain Grosjean in P16. So we're trying to increase that gap from George Russell behind us and then get closer to the 2 Haas cars in front of us. Of course, DRS becomes available at the end of lap 2, at the start of lap 3. So we need to make sure we are within that DRS zone for Kevin Magnussen and try and pull away from George Russell, because we don't want him getting DRS on us. We need to pull away as quickly as possible. We set the green sector 1 there for lap 2, which is to be expected, of course, with how the first lap goes as in Formula 1 races. But we set a nice green sector. Now Kevin Magnussen takes a weird line into that corner, which throws off our line, boys. So we go a bit slow out of that corner, and George Russell comes on the overtake. Is he going to do it on the outside? And he does get it, but we're not going to give up that easy, boys. We go deep into the braking zone and get that position back straight away. You know, we were not today, Mr. Russell. Yeah, I know you're driving for Mercedes this weekend, but we don't care about all that. Yeah, we don't care about that. Yeah, come on, call me JME, because man, don't care. Yeah, we're flying ahead now. Giovinazzi's even overtook Russell now. So Russell's head must be absolutely gone after trying that overtake on us there. But we did go ahead and get our position back. As we come around the final turn now and approach the finish line, well, obviously not the finish, but you know what I mean, we're across the line and DRS should be enabled now, and we are within that gap. So we need to make sure we maintain that gap, the sub 1 second gap to K-Mag, so we can get that DRS zone, boys, because obviously DRS is such a massively important thing, especially here at Australia. It's a very hard track to overtake. There's not many overtaking opportunities on this track, with a lot of high-speed corners. You know, it's one of them where you'll see there's a major action area in this race, where a lot of action happens, and it was really where George Russell that tried to overtake us there. That was really the only place that action does happen on this track, at least in this race for me. But you can see, you know, we're getting a nice slipstream, and we've closed that gap to Kevin Magnussen to 0.3, boys. So, you know, maybe the next DRS zone, are we going to be able to make that move? Who knows? You'll have to wait and see. But we've even got that sub 1 second to Grosjean, so we can see Has in our sights. You know, we've got that Mercedes engine, Has off the Ferrari engine. Can we go ahead and push? This engine does feel very powerful, but one thing I will say, compared to my last career mode with the Honda engine at the start, you know, it didn't feel like I had power in it. But this Mercedes unit, I can feel the power, you know, coming out of corners and stuff. It just feels like it accelerates fast. We nearly go into the gravel trap again there, and that's something like I do need to work on this track especially. I always run wide on that corner there with the gravel, and obviously if you run too wide and your wheel gets caught in the gravel, you're just going to go flying and end your race. So that would not be good. But we managed to avoid a few lucky scares in this race with that corner there, as we look to improve our car, obviously, so it can handle the corners better. But we jump forward now into the race, and the pit window is now open. We are going for the undercut strategy, which means we are going to pit before everybody else on the track. Of course, people are going to pit at the same time as us, but we're going to pit before our teammates and whatever. So we've got Giovinazzi, I think that is, trying to make a move on us, but we brake late into the braking zone and cut him off there, so we can't make that move, and we do manage to create a bit of a gap because he has to back off. And that was nice defending from me, really. Obviously, he nearly made that move going into the corner, but you know, we managed to fend them off. But yeah, boys, we are going for the pit on this lap, so it is our in lap, so we do need to push as hard as possible. You can see we are burning off that excess energy and fuel. Again, Kevin Magnussen takes this weird line into the corner. I try and avoid contact by going on the inside of it, which cost me some time. That is how George Russell did make that move on us on lap 2. And that just happened a few times, so we need to make sure we get past Magnussen as quick as possible. We cut the corner there and exceed track limits, not for the last time in this race, let me tell you. But there are no rules, so we went ahead and cut the corner there. But it was by accident, I will admit. But it is what it is as we come up to the final few turns here. And we're going to see who pits as well. I'm wondering, is Grosjean or Magnussen going to come in for the Has? And it looks like Grosjean is coming in. Magnussen will stay out. We've also got Kimi Raikkonen and someone in front of Raikkonen there coming in for the pits. I'm not too sure who that was in front of Raikkonen, but there are a few of us in the pits, nobody behind us, only Latifi, who is still out on track, the absolute stinker. I don't know how he's so far behind people all the time. Can we get a quick pit stop and get out before any of these people who've come in? We get a 1.9 seconds, which is a rapid pit stop. That is a sub 2 second Red Bull racing style pit stop there, but we have to wait for the traffic, and we come out in the same position behind Romain Grosjean. Now, boys, you will see how this pit, the undercut strategy for the 4 of us here. I'm really not too sure who it was in front of Raikkonen, but obviously me, Grosjean, Raikkonen, and whoever was in front of him, it was Danny Kvyat. You will see how that undercut does really help us as we get to the end of lap 8. You know, this strategy, boys. Honestly, I love an undercut strategy. But we go in the inside of Romain Grosjean. Let me take a place there, boys. Grosjean was caught sleeping. Maybe he was on fire still from the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, all jokes, I'm just glad he's okay, so we can make jokes like that. But we go right up from the outside of Grosjean into that turn. Brake late, and we do gain a place, boys. We're up into P20. You know, obviously, once we catch this pack here, you can see on the mini-map, there's a lot of people coming out of the pit lane. Where are we going to end up, boys? We come right alongside Mick Schumacher, our teammate, and we do overtake him. We're in P15, boys, which is massive. We've got Sergio Perez there, who comes out in P13 just in front of Kimi Raikkonen, which is a mad one. Obviously, Sergio Perez has got that racing point car, and he's a very talented driver, so we are going to be, it's going to be a tough job to try and catch him. Raikkonen's moving absolutely scatty there. I don't know what Kimi Raikkonen is doing or what he's thinking, but his head seems to be gone this race. After that full send on the first lap, you know, I don't know what he is thinking this race, but you can see he's moving all scatty there, and it looks like Perez is going to pull away from us now, but we stay behind Raikkonen. We've got a good distance between us and Raikkonen for those DRS zones. Can we try and make a move once we do get that DRS in? You can see we're on 0.2 seconds and we're catching him just without the DRS, so it's going to be a recipe for disaster for him when we do get it. Let's see, can we make that move now? We're going to get the slipstream. It's a repeat of what just happened to Romain Grosjean. We go again. He tries to cut us off, but you know, he's not going to defend that move there, and we do move up into P14, boys, which is a massive jump from P20 on the grid. Fantastic start to the Formula 1 season, you know, being in P14 on lap 9 of 15. We've got Sergio Perez in our sights now. That is the next person that we are aiming to go for, and it looks like Max Verstappen is in the pits, boys. He's on soft tyres. I don't know what's happened there, whether that is his first stop of the race, and he stayed out on those soft tyres for 10 laps, which I just can't see happening, because that's just, you know, that would be a very weird strategy from Red Bull Racing. Obviously, he started P3 on the grid, so I'm not too sure why he's now down so low, unless he picked up some damage and had to pit again. You know, maybe he lost his front wing, had to do with 2 pit stops, which would have cost him the race, really, because with everyone doing a 1-stop, with this being a 25% distance race, everyone doing a 1-stop, if he does a 2-stop, that's going to cost him the race pretty much. So it'll be interesting to find out what does actually happen to Max Verstappen and why he's just pitted again. You know, obviously he was on the soft tyres, so that does seem a bit weird, unless he started on the mediums. But boys, we see a yellow flag behind us there. The engineer says that the incident is cleared, but we keep driving. Let's go and check out what's happened. We're riding on board now with our teammate Mick Schumacher, and as he comes around the corner, boys, it looks like his engine just completely cuts out on him, and he nearly crashes with the Ferrari there. But yeah, so he's holding on Max Verstappen. So yeah, boys, it looks like Mick Schumacher is out of the race, unless he can recover this, or will it be a terminal problem with the engine and he has to retire? But we keep going, boys, and I'm thinking, hopefully, you know, he can get this car back going. Maybe he's just stalled it somehow. I don't know how he would do that, but maybe he can keep going. But Mick Schumacher is out of the session, and that brings the safety car, boys. Now you can see on our right, I was going to slow down, but I decided to just go because Perez went, so I thought, fuck it, we'll just go, and we won't sit behind the safety car. I don't know if there's any you know, repercussions for doing that, whether we should have stayed behind the safety car or what, but you can see there Perez is flying ahead now, so we just went with him, and we just wanted to close that gap. But of course, we've got to maintain that delta, and you know, maintain the speed. Now I'm looking at the time here, boys, thinking we've got 3 laps left in the race. We've still got to do a lap to catch the safety car queue. You know, this race has the possibility of ending behind the safety car, which would be a big disappointment. You know, we were very close to striking on Sergio Perez. I think if we had like 1 or 2 more laps, we would have been within striking distance, but you can see now the safety car is coming in, so we should maintain our speed. And Perez is moving scatty, boys. I don't know what he's doing, what he's thinking. You can see he's backing us up majorly there. He doesn't want to close that gap to Pierre Gasly. You can see us all jumpy on the throttle there. It's a bit like Max Verstappen when he's behind Lewis Hamilton. He's just eager to go, but Hamilton wants to slow him down. You can see he's backing us up, and I'm losing my head now, because I'm thinking, why are you not closing that gap to Gasly? We need to go racing again. Like, you need to catch up to Gasly, do you know what I mean? Like, what are you actually doing going so slow in front of me? Because you're going to make me crash. You see, I nearly bump him a few times there. But yeah, we're coming up to the last few corners now. Prepare to resume racing. Now, my head's gone because he's backing us up so much. And we nearly crash again, which makes us take a bad line into that second to last corner. Which means as we come around the final corner to go racing again, he just pulls away from us. Sergio Perez is gone. Yeah, he's gone into the distance, and we are not going to catch Perez. You know, we've got 1 lap left, or 2 laps left, sorry. Yeah, we're not going to catch him. Spoiler alert. But it's just because he was backing us up so much, and then we went into that second to last corner, just like an idiot. But as you can see, boys, we are on the last lap now. Checkered flag is out, and Valtteri Bottas has won the first race of the season, overtaking Lewis Hamilton, who started P1 on the grid. GG to Valtteri Bottas, to whom it may concern. Yeah, so P13, boys, we finished first race of the season. Now, that's a fantastic result for us. You know, everything just went our way this race, really. We had a good few, you know, battles in there with Grosjean, Kimi Raikkonen, as well as George Russell right at the start. Raikkonen gets driver of the day. I think it should have been us, you know. We went up from P20 on the grid to P13. That's a 7th-place jump. You know, I don't know what Raikkonen did, but I'm sure it wasn't 7, but we will see once we do get to the standings. And you can see Bottas there. I don't know how he managed to overtake Hamilton, but he managed to do it, and I'm sure he said to whom it may concern on the radio. And let me tell you right now, Valtteri, it doesn't concern anyone, lad. No one's asked about you, alright? We just want to see George Russell in that Mercedes C permanently. But as we get to the podium, boys, look at that. Alex Albon in P3. You know, Alex Albon, lad, you need to go. You need to get, like, out of Red Bull Racing. I don't want you at my team. Yeah, because Red Bull Racing is my team. Yeah, I don't want you there. I want Sergio Perez there for next season. So you need to go. But obviously the Thai driver gets on the podium next to Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas for the first race of the season. And that does conclude the Australia Grand Prix. Let's see the full standings here, boys. Obviously, we finished P13. We've got Carlos Sainz in P4. Daniel Ricciardo up there as well. With Lance Stroll in P6. You know, that's a big jump from P9. Now, let's check the bottom of the pack. Max Verstappen finished P17, boys. He did have 2 stops. I don't know what happened. He must have picked up damage. That's the only explanation right there. Yeah, because that's just a weird strategy. You know, I don't know why you'd ever do a 2-stop. Mick Schumacher, of course, our teammate DNF. It's so unfortunate, but Charles Leclerc finished P19 as well. Started P18 on the grid, so Leclerc's had a stinker. But boys, first race of the season, we finish above Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Who would have thought it? Not me. But yeah, that's a fantastic result for us. We've got the 2 AlphaTauris just above us, which is a good indication of where we should be in this race. Obviously, we wanted to be close to AlphaTauri. That's what we said in the interview at the start. That's what it builds our car around. And you know, we can see right there, you know, it's living up to its name. We are very close to the AlphaTauri cars. But boys, that does conclude the 2020 Australia Grand Prix, and that concludes the first episode of this new season. We've obviously got the Bahrain Grand Prix next. I'm sure Grosjean will not be happy going back to this track so soon. It's going to bring back some bad memories for our man Roman. But boys, that is going to be it for this video. You know, I'm excited to bring this this series back. I'm actually really enjoying recording this series, so hopefully I will keep this one going. Unlike the last one, I'm actually motivated to make this series, you know what I mean? And I proper enjoyed making this video. So if you did enjoy it too, make sure you hit like and subscribe. But I'm sure you are all subscribed already. If you're not, turn on notifications. And I'll catch you in the next video, boys. Take it easy.